$200 million vanished overnight. The biggest heist in American history. And the cop who sold it out from the inside? Gone. No trace, no body, just an empty locker and a story nobody believes. His name was Daniel Reeve. On day one of his badge, he cried during the oath in front of his wife and tiny daughter. By day 1000, he was the most wanted ghost in the country. Stay with me, because this isn't a movie. This is the real anatomy of how a good man becomes a fugitive, one tiny choice at a time. And by the end, you'll see why it could happen to anyone. Day 1. Daniel pins the badge to his chest at 5 in the morning. His hands shake. His wife kisses him for luck at the doorway. He swears, out loud to the kitchen, to protect every single soul in the city. His partner is a tired veteran named Marcus. Marcus laughs at the rookie's polished shoes and dares him to quote the academy oath back. Daniel does, word for word. Marcus stops laughing halfway through and just listens. On his first patrol, he helps an old woman carry groceries up 4 flights of stairs. She tries to press $5 into his palm. He folds her fingers back around it, beams at her, and tells her just to vote in November. He chases a teenager who stole a candy bar, catches him 3 blocks later in a wet alley. The kid is crying, snot on his sleeve. Daniel walks him back, pays for the candy himself, and lets him go with a quiet warning. That night he writes in a small leather journal beside his sleeping wife, "I want my daughter to be proud of me forever, even after I'm gone." His pen presses down so hard it leaves a dent on the page below. Day 40. He stops for coffee at a corner diner before sunrise. The owner waves off his wallet across the counter. "Cops eat free here, kid. Always have, always will." Daniel hesitates, smiles, and thanks him quietly. It feels harmless. A $2 coffee. But Marcus watches him pocket that paper cup with a small knowing smile from a booth in the corner. "That's how it starts, kid," the veteran murmurs. Daniel laughs and shrugs it off. Day 82. The diner owner is being shaken down by a vicious local loan shark. He pulls Daniel aside one rainy morning and asks for a single favor. "Just look the other way for one night, please." Daniel says no. Walks out into the rain. Drives home in silence. But at 3 in the morning, he's still wide awake on the couch, because the man fed him free meals every single shift for 3 months straight. Day 100. He drives past the diner at the exact hour of the shakedown. He sees the loan shark, the baseball bat, the shattered front window, glittering on the sidewalk. He keeps driving, eyes locked straight on the road. Back at the precinct, he washes his hands twice at the locker room sink. The water is freezing. He tells himself it was a small thing. The diner is still standing. Nobody died tonight. Nobody died. Day 150. A tow truck driver slips him $40 through a half-open patrol car window. "For looking after my route, officer." Daniel takes it without thinking. His fingers don't shake this time. That's what scares him most. 40 becomes 80. 80 becomes 100. Every single week, a small, unmarked envelope tucked into his gym locker at the precinct. He starts paying off his car early. His wife notices the new gym bag, but nothing else. Day 210. His daughter sings him a little song she made up about cops being heroes. He smiles, kisses her warm forehead, and tucks her in. Then he locks the bathroom door behind him and cries into a folded towel. By morning, he's back at the precinct, joking with Marcus, signing his name on the duty board like nothing happened. The guilt gets quieter each day, like a song you stop hearing because it's always playing in the background. Day 300. A bar brawl spills onto the street. He arrests the wrong guy on purpose because the right guy is connected to a man who owns half the block. The bar owner pays his rent that month. The wrong guy gets 6 years. He visits the man in jail 2 weeks later. Tries to apologize without ever saying the actual words. The man stares at him through the smudged glass partition and says, dead calm, "You owe me, officer. Forever." Then hangs up. Daniel buries it all under work. Buys his wife a thin gold necklace from a jeweler downtown. Tells her work has been generous. She wears it to dinner that Friday. He can't stop staring at the delicate clasp resting on the back of her neck. Day 380. He meets a man called Vargas in a concrete parking garage just after midnight. Vargas runs the docks. Vargas runs the drugs through them. Vargas slides a thick brown envelope across the hood of his black car, $5,000, to tip Vargas off before any raid touches his operation. Daniel says yes before he's even finished counting the bills. He drives home, parks in his own driveway, and sits frozen behind the wheel for almost a full hour. Next raid is called off at the last moment because someone leaked it from inside. 2 innocent officers are reassigned to desk duty. Marcus eyes Daniel from across the crowded squad room, says absolutely nothing. Daniel's stomach turns to solid ice. Day 450. He's promoted to detective. His wife throws a small backyard party with paper streamers. His daughter hands him a homemade badge, cut from cardboard, scribbled in crayon. He hangs it on the fridge that night anyway. That very same week, he warns Vargas about a federal wiretap. A federal informant ends up floating face down in the river 2 days later. Daniel watches the news report on the couch with his daughter asleep on his lap. He doesn't sleep that first night. He doesn't sleep the next night either. By the third night, he sleeps perfectly fine, all the way through to his alarm. That terrifies him more than the killing did. He understands now what he is becoming. Day 500. Marcus retires. At the small goodbye dinner in the back of a steakhouse, he leans in close over his whiskey. I see you, kid. I've been seeing you for years now. Get out while you still can. Daniel just laughs, pours Marcus another generous drink, slaps him on the back, promises he'll visit on weekends. Marcus dies of a heart attack 6 weeks later. Daniel doesn't attend the funeral. He says he's working a case. Day 560. He buys a second phone, then a third one. He hides all of them behind a loose red brick at the back of the garage. His wife starts to think he's having an affair with someone at work. She confronts him in the kitchen on a Sunday afternoon. He swears on his daughter's life that there is no other woman, no one else, nothing. It's the very first time he's ever lied straight to her face without flinching. Not once. Day 600. He starts quietly taking pieces of evidence from the property room. A wad of cash, a vintage gold watch, an unregistered handgun. Small things, untraceable, things that won't be missed. He turns out to be very wrong about that. Internal Affairs quietly opens a thin file with his name on it. A young investigator named Sarah Choi starts watching him from a distance. He doesn't yet know her name. He doesn't yet know her face. She knows everything about his. Day 680. Vargas introduces him to a man simply called the Architect. The Architect doesn't smile. The Architect doesn't blink. The Architect plans things 3, 4, sometimes 5 years in advance. He builds invisible empires out of patience. They drink amber whiskey in a private room above the steakhouse. The Architect speaks quietly. You're going to help me move something very big. Something nobody in this country has ever moved before in one piece. Daniel nods. He doesn't hesitate. Day 700. Daniel meets his daughter's third-grade teacher at parent-teacher night. She praises the girl's honesty above everything else. Says she always tells the truth, even when it hurts to. Daniel can barely shake the teacher's hand. On the drive home that night, his daughter asks him from the back seat if he catches bad guys for a living. He says yes, baby, every single day. She squeezes his pointer finger and falls asleep against the window glass. Day 750. The Architect's plan finally begins. A massive shipment of bearer bonds and uncut diamonds is moving through the city in 3 weeks. $200 million in cold value, all loaded into one armored truck. The FBI has been tracking that exact shipment for almost a year now. Daniel's precinct is the local backup detail. He is personally assigned to the route map, the full sealed route, times, stops, weak points, everything. They hand it to him. He photographs every single page with a hidden burner phone in the precinct bathroom stall, sends them all to the Architect that night, receives a single number in reply. $2 million, wired tonight, untraceable, into an offshore account abroad. $2 million. He sits in his patrol car, staring at the screen for a long time. He thinks of his daughter's college fund. He thinks of his wife's tired eyes. He thinks of Marcus in the ground. Then he says, yes. Day 760. He goes to Sunday Mass with his family for the first time in years. He kneels in the dark wooden pew. He prays. He does not ask God for forgiveness. He asks for luck. Just luck, nothing more. Sarah Choi watches him kneel from a wooden pew 3 rows back. She photographs the back of his head with a tiny camera. She files the image later under "Subject appears emotionally unstable." Then she just waits. Sarah Choi is very patient. Day 790. The armored truck rolls out at dawn. The architect's men hit it on a blind curve under an overpass. No alarms triggered, no witnesses around. The truck driver lives only because nobody on this crew is angry today. $200 million in bearer bonds and uncut stones vanish in under 4 full minutes. The FBI rolls onto the scene in 7 minutes flat. By minute 8, they already know without a doubt they were betrayed from the inside. Daniel is in his own kitchen, making chocolate chip pancakes for his daughter, when his burner phone buzzes once in his pocket. The wire has cleared. He smiles at her across the kitchen island. She has syrup on her chin. He says he loves her. He means it. He has always meant it. That is the part he doesn't understand about himself, even now, even today. The love was never the lie. It was the only thing in him that was never for sale. Day 800. The investigation explodes nationwide. Federal agents flood the precinct by the dozen. Every officer is questioned in turn. Daniel sits in the exact same metal chair he sat in on his very first day, answering the very same questions. He's calm. Too calm. The sharp-eyed Sarah Choi notices instantly from the corner of the room. She walks over and slides a single photograph across the metal table. The diner. The loan shark. From 10 years ago. He hasn't seen that face in forever. He shrugs. Says he doesn't remember. She slides another photograph forward, and then another, and another. A long trail of small choices stretching back almost 3 years of his life. He realizes she has been watching him this entire time. Forever. She lets him walk out of the precinct that night, on purpose, to see exactly what he does next. He drives home, kisses his exhausted wife on the cheek, reads his daughter a bedtime story about a brave knight defending a village. Then he walks straight out to the garage, pulls the loose red brick out of the back wall, takes the burner phones, a passport he never told anyone existed, and a heavy duffel bag of cash stashed behind the water heater for years. He stands in his sleeping daughter's bedroom doorway for a full silent minute. He doesn't go in. He is afraid that if he touches her one more time, he will not be physically able to leave that house. So he leaves. He just leaves. Day 801. Sarah Choi knocks on his front door at sunrise. His wife answers groggily in her robe. She says he left for an early shift hours ago. She actually believes that. She has no idea her whole life has just ended. Daniel is already 300 miles past the state line. He drives with both hands locked on the wheel, eyes flicking constantly to the rear view, every muscle in his body wound tight. The radio quietly plays a song his daughter loved. He pulls over at a desolate rest stop near a pine forest, sits inside a bathroom stall, cries completely silently into his fists for 10 full minutes. Then he washes his face in the cracked sink. Then he keeps driving. The sun rises behind him. Day 850. His face is plastered across every major news channel in America by lunch. The cop who sold out the heist. The man who betrayed his entire city for $2 million. The ghost cop the FBI absolutely cannot find anywhere. His wife is interviewed live on national television 3 days later. She doesn't speak a single word. She just holds their daughter against her chest and stares straight into the camera with eyes that have already buried him completely. Day 900. The architect's entire network begins to unravel quickly. Vargas is arrested in a port raid. 2 of his lieutenants are killed in custody within days. Daniel knows exactly what that pattern means. The architect always cleans his own house. Daniel is no longer running from just the police anymore. He is running from the exact man who paid him. The money sitting in his offshore account is now a giant target painted on his back. He cannot spend it without showing up. Day 950. He shaves his head clean in a roadside motel bathroom one rainy night, grows out a thick beard, changes his name 3 different times in 3 months, stops sleeping in actual beds, starts sleeping in his car instead, parked off-road. He calls his wife exactly once from a payphone in a small town he can no longer pinpoint on a map. She answers immediately. He breathes into the receiver. She says one word, "Don't," and hangs up the phone gently. He never calls again. Day 1000. A small fishing boat finds a worn brown leather wallet on a quiet beach in northern Mexico. Daniel's old shield is tucked inside. His driver's license too. A faded photograph of his daughter, salt-warped, edges curling inward. No body ever washes up. No remains are ever found anywhere along the coast. Officially, Daniel Reeve is presumed dead by the United States government. Unofficially, nobody at his old precinct actually believes that. Nobody at the FBI does either. Sarah Choi keeps the case file wide open on her desk. She still checks border crossings every single morning. She still combs through reports of strangers in tiny mountain towns. She still believes he is out there somewhere, watching his daughter grow up from very far away, because the same man who took that oath on day one is still in there somewhere too, buried deep beneath 1,000 small choices stacked on top of each other. And every single Daniel Reeve, in every city across America, starts exactly the same way. One free coffee. One folded $20 bill. One single look the other way at the wrong moment. That, right there, is how every empire of corruption in human history begins. Not with a heist, with a Tuesday morning and a friendly smile. So watch yourself out there. Watch the very small things. They are never actually small. And if this story hit you hard, hit that subscribe button right now, because the next true descent we tell on this channel is even darker than this one.